Coming up on Takedown with Chris Hansen.
Where you want to go?
Hey, Jeff, have a seat right over there.
I knew that was going to happen.
In Genesee County, Michigan, it's one of the most shocking takedowns yet.
Where is this going?
What should happen to you, Jeff?
And this man's career will leave you floored.
Jeff, what do you do for a living?
You're not going to believe it.
Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here. I hope you're enjoying this free full episode of Takedown. But there's something else you need to know. We have almost 100 new episodes on my streaming crime network, watch TruBlu.com. Use the code YouTube24 for half off your first month, or YouTube Year for $20 off a full year. We'll see you soon on TruBlu.
In Genesee County, Michigan, the investigation into potential child predators by the Ghost Team and me continues.
There's nobody here that's been in a battle like you.
At the Sting House, a ghost detective posing as the aunt to a 15-year-old girl fills me in on the chat. And this man has some rather vulgar requests.
All right, tell me about this guy. He's 60?
He's 6 years old. He was talking to the aunt. Gonna come for the 15-year-old. Going to do oral sex, and she's gonna pee on him. So he's gonna do oral sex on her, and then she's gonna piss on him. $25 extra. Water sports.
Do we have a name on 60-year-old?
I do. His name. That's him.
Got it.
He is Jeff.
Jeff?
6 years old. He said he looks good for his age.
We'll be the judge of that.
He's gentle. I said, well, I'm 15. I look good I look old.
So he chatted with both the aunt and the girl?
Yep. Told him that I'm not feeling up to it and that I'm going to be at the store. So I'm going to hand my phone off to my niece.
Does he have a name for the niece?
Ivy.
Ivy. Ivy over.
Ivy. Said he looks much younger than 60.
Any other key lines in the chat that stick out?
Karen, I always have a lot of people that talk about
Water sports. So he says that he wants to pay
He said
the 15-year-old girl. He's chatting with the aunt who's selling the niece.
Yep.
Ivy.
Says, are you available? He's got a 941. I'm like, why the weird number? He said it's from Florida. I haven't changed it since I came from Sarasota. He said, can I come over? Depends on what you want to do. I'm not inviting people over just to chill. It says you're open to suggestions like oral and water sports. We can start there and see what happens. I said, can you do $100? And I said, and are you clean? Yes and yes. I said, water sports is 25 extra. I can do that. I said, Ivy is 15, so don't want anyone grimy. No worries. Are you the blonde in the pic? Yeah, but I'm not looking to see anyone right now, if that's okay. And he pays a compliment. I should say the hot blonde and the cutie in the towel. That's my niece. No worries. I'm open to change your mind. Where am I going? I'm okay if you are okay with that. He was like, I'm 60. If you're okay with that. Do you look 60? You look much younger. And I said, you can do 100. He says, no problem. I said, do you want to piss on her or her on you? Because that's $25 extra. Her on me. But it's not a deal breaker. But I'm good for paying extra. So that is good to know. It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
So he said he'll pay the 25 extra.
So he's in for 125 for oral sex and to have her urinate on him.
Yes. No.
Is that common with these
I
guys?
have a lot of people ask for that, but I mean, and other stuff like what was that, scat?
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting.
Okay. We'll be ready.
A 60-year-old man coming for sex with a 15-year-old girl is something we see all the time. But hearing what Jeff wants to do with her has left us all with a, shall we say, sick feeling.
Yeah.
The decoy waits in the kitchen for Jeff to show up as I tuck into the darkened hallway, waiting to make my presence known.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
My aunt texted me, said you were coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good, because I've been holding going to the bathroom, so. How are you?
You didn't have to wait
Yeah.
for that.
Oh. Well, I did.
Look again as Jeff locks the door behind him. Not just one lock, but both door locks.
That's okay.
She told me that's what you liked, so
Oh,
I just wanted to wait.
I'm with you.
How's your day going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good.
Where you want to go?
Give me just 1 second. I gotta run to my bedroom really fast to grab something, and I'll be right back, okay?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing?
I need you to have your hands out of your pocket and have a seat right over there.
I knew that was going to happen.
Go ahead, let's have a seat. How you doing?
Not worth a crap.
Not worth a crap.
I'm headed over to my dad's to take a look at a tree for him, and I knew I was going to get sucked into this.
What do you mean get sucked into this?
Sometimes I do stupid shit, and I've never followed through on it, and so
Well, explain it to me, Jeff.
stupidity.
Stupidity. What do you mean by stupidity, Jeff?
I know better, and I didn't catch when she said 15, and until she just said, and I'm like, you know what? That's not me. I'm sorry.
Well, explain. Just tell me how this all came together today.
You know what? Honestly, I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, I'm not really having any issues, but I'm just not happy at home, and
Are you a married fella, Jeff?
yeah,
And how long have you been married?
18 years.
18 years. And do you have kids, Jeff? Mm-hmm. And how old are your kids?
My youngest is 18, and he's he just graduated from school.
From high school.
My other kids are all older from my first marriage.
Yeah. And this is your second marriage, and you've been married 18 years?
Yeah.
So take me step by step, Jeff, through the events of today. You went online, you went to a site, then what happened?
I was stupid and I texted, and I knew it was wrong to pull in, and I really don't know how to explain it. I'm frustrated, and I'm just, I was just looking for some company more than anything else.
Right.
Just somebody that will pay attention. That, no designs really for. I mean, you heard her. She held off. The other stuff is just more of a fantasy thing. My wife's not really much into anything, and I just,
How old are you, Jeff?
I'm 60.
You're 60.
I am 60. Yeah, I didn't lie about that. I'm 60.
You said you looked younger than 60. Good looking fella, you said.
Oh, I didn't say good looking.
Words to that effect. You're in good shape. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna. Where's this going? What?
Well, we're going to get to that in just a minute, but you talk online to someone who identifies herself as the aunt of a 15-year-old girl named Ivy. That's all correct?
Yeah.
And there's talk about oral sex, and then there's talk about having the 15-year-old girl urinate on you.
Yeah, I didn't catch that 15. I saw. I'm looking back at the text message now.
Right.
And, I just.
That's what you call water sports.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're told that would cost $25 extra for the water sports.
Yeah. She asked. Yeah. I mean, I did ask. Here's the text message. I mean, you
Right.
can see.
I have it. I went through it all.
You have. Yeah.
Right. So you wanted to come over here and pay this girl $125 for oral sex, and then you wanted her to urinate on you. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And where does this fantasy?
I mean,
well, it's in the texts.
Yeah.
So you brought it up, right?
I did. Like I said, it's a fantasy that.
Have you ever done this before?
No, never been able to follow through on. Never done anything for, and and I thought, you know what, to hell with it. I'm gonna go, just see,
See if
when she
this
said she's
15-year-old
nervous,
girl would
nervous
urinate
too,
on you.
because, yeah, and I don't, and I should have caught it at the 15 and said no. As soon as she said down here, yeah, she said right, and I missed this.
Yeah.
Because.
That's a heck of a part to miss, Jeff.
Well,
That's
I was driving, and it was
Right.
like I just saw the message, and it's like,
So-
and at that point I should have said no, absolutely not at 15.
Right.
You got to be at least.
Well, you should have said
preferably
no.
21.
You're right. Where does this whole urinate thing come from? I know it's a fantasy. I'm not a prude, but I don't understand. Is that exciting to you?
You know, it didn't really. I don't know. It's just it's something that I haven't done.
Yeah.
And I just.
Have you viewed it on porn sites?
Yeah, I've seen it. Honestly, yeah, I've seen
And
it on.
it excites you, or
I don't know. It didn't freak me out.
it
You know what I
seems
mean? I thought that
messy and
seemed a little-
potentially smelly to me. And again, I'm not trying to be prude here. I'm just saying it doesn't seem.
I don't know because I've never been in that situation.
Yeah, but what are you going to do when you're done? Take a shower, or
Yeah, I would
hope
shower
it doesn't
off and-
smell on your shirt when you get home?
Well,
Your wife,
I wouldn't
18
want to
years.
be wearing clothes when it's.
Yeah.
Excuse
Now,
me,
yeah, how long did you drive to get over here, Jeff?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. And you live in a house with your wife and some of the kids, one of the kids? Mm-hmm. Have you ever gone online before and had sex? So just today, on a
I've
hot
gone online,
July
but
day-
I've never gone out and
Right.
looked.
What
you know
made
I
you
mean?
cross this line today and take this risk, Jeff?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Just I'm frustrated with my wife. We get along. We don't fight.
Right.
You know, we don't. But she's just kind of, yeah, whatever. You know.
It's kind of whatever. You're going to blame your wife for this predicament.
No.
Well, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're blaming your wife.
I'm looking for attention. I don't get attention. I'm not
Right.
blaming her. I mean, you know, she's 56. I'm 60, and it's just gotten to that point where, you know.
So you thought you'd remedy that by having a 15-year-old
I just
girl
wanted
give you
some
oral
attention.
sex and urinate on you.
Not 15. 15 was not in
Okay,
my
but you knew
plan of
that.
action. I knew that when I pulled in here, and I should have known better.
But you didn't.
And
You
I-
pulled in
and I was-
anyway.
and I did. I pulled in.
What
anyway.
made you blur that line, Jeff, between fantasy and reality and knock on this door?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you know, what do you want me to say?
Well, the truth would be good.
I don't know. I mean, it was just I don't feel like I've had any attention for so long that
Right.
I just want, you know, I'm not ready to get away from my wife, but I wanted some attention, and I just thought, you know, today's the day, and you know, I got time, and I don't really have an excuse. I mean, this was just, it was.
Next, a question I ask all the men sitting across from me, but I didn't anticipate the answer I was about to get.
Jeff, what do you do for a living?
You're not gonna believe it. I was a cop for over 20 years.
You were a
and
cop
I do insurance. And
for over 20
I had
years?
my license fucked up.
Where were you a cop, Jeff?
I went to the academy in Detroit.
Detroit. You went to the Detroit Police
Class
Academy.
97F. I worked in Millington for 6 years till we got laid off. Worked part-time in Cloud for a year and a half. And I went to Florida and finished down there. I left in 2017.
So you worked for the Millington Police Department?
And I worked part-time in the city of Cloud.
I can't hear you. Pull your hand.
Sorry, I worked part-time in the city of Cloud.
Clio, you worked part-time as a cop, and Millington? And where did you work as a cop in Florida?
Longboat Key.
Longboat Key as a police officer.
I was a sergeant when I left.
You were a sergeant when you left. Did you ever bust anybody for doing this very same thing?
Not once.
You were a sworn officer of the law.
I know.
Jeff, you should know better.
I do know better. That's the problem.
I know, but help me to understand how you crossed this line as a cop. How many years you were a cop? 18 years?
20.
20 years a cop.
97 to 17.
97 to 17.
I was a reserve in Genesee Township for 4 years before that.
And now you sell insurance. You're licensed, bonded.
Not bonded. I mean, it's licensed.
You're licensed by the state of Michigan to sell insurance. What kind of insurance do you sell?
Life, health, and Medicare.
Life, health, and Medicare.
And my world just got fucked up.
Who do you blame for this, Jeff?
Me. Who else am I going to blame? That's my fault. I did it. I did. How you doing, guys? I'm not a threat. I'm not. Trust me. I'm not. I have a concealed
Well,
pistol
Jeff,
license.
just-
and I am not carrying.
Yeah, but you don't have to care. So, Jeff, I'm Chris Hansen, and we do stories on men who try to meet kids for sex. Have you seen those stories? To Catch a Predator,
I don't
Takedown
watch.
with Chris
I
Hansen?
don't watch. No, and
Now you're on one.
I don't want to be on.
Well, you should have thought of that before you walked into this house to have oral sex with a 15-year-old girl and then have her urinate on you. You've never done this before, is what you're telling me?
I have never done this, and I don't know why I did it. It just got. I guess it just got to a point where I just wanted to explore, do something, and this was the dumbest friggin' thing I could have ever done.
You couldn't find an adult with whom to experiment. It shouldn't be that hard, Jeff.
It shouldn't be that hard, no. But I don't have time to go out and,
So just grab a quickie with a 15-year-old. That was your solution.
Not a 15-year-old. Jesus.
Well,
if
I know, but you knew it. And then, Jeff, on top of that, you walk in here and you're crowding the girl as if, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? When are we going to have sex? You're hot to trot.
I was a crowding her.
You walked right up.
Just then, a ghost detective catches my eye.
Sorry, I didn't realize that I was crowding her. She said she had to go, and
Why did you lock the door after you came in, Jeff?
Because I didn't want somebody else coming in.
Right. Because you knew what you were doing was wrong.
Well,
You were going to.
I knew when I showed up here that was wrong.
You were going to sexually exploit a 15-year-old girl. Do you know how that
15
looks?
yeah,
A
I know how it
20-year
looks.
cop,
What?
60-year-old man who should know better.
What do you want me to say? I know better. I should have known better.
You walk in, you lock the door, and then you come over and pursue her, and she tells you she's held it because your fantasy was to have her urinate on you.
And I told her that wasn't a big deal. I wasn't concerned about that.
You were going to pay extra for it.
Well, but again, it's in the text. I mean, if it's
Right,
if
you're
it
going to
is,
get
it
oral
is.
sex
If it
from a
isn't-
15-year-old girl.
If it is, it is, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't really, that's not the big priority.
What should happen to you, Jeff?
You got the sheriff's department here. I know what's going to happen.
What?
Yeah, it's jail.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this stuff online. It's the end of my life, basically.
What do you tell other men who might be looking for the very same thing?
Don't be stupid like I was. This is ridiculous. I mean, there's no excuse for this, and I know that. And if I had seen the first message that said she was 15, I said no. Call when you're 21, but no.
That's not what you said, is it?
That's not what I said.
No, you came right over here,
not gonna argue
locked
with
the
you.
door, and wanted to know where we could go for sex.
Can we stop this?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're done, then fine, you can go. But these people want to talk to you, and they'll explain what's going to happen next. Anything else you want people to know about what happened today? Jeff, anything else you want people to know? All right then.
All right, Jeff, go ahead and stand up, buddy. Come on, Jeff. You'll be all right.
Jeff knows the drill and even suggests a lesser charge.
You guys can't write me an appearance ticket and.
Hey, Jeff, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take, my name's Jason Murphy, right in McCann Sheriff's Office. We're going to take you downtown to our office, and we're going to talk to you, okay? All right, just make sure, remember, if you've done this before, don't lie about the little things, we think it's the big things, right?
Have I not been straight?
So, you've been honest.
Jeff, the former law enforcement officer turned insurance salesman, was charged with child sexually abusive activity, accosting and soliciting a minor, and using a computer to commit a crime. We'll keep you posted on the case against him.
20 years a cop. I have a hard time getting my arms around that. 20 years a cop, a successful insurance agent with kids. And he blames it on his wife? Not buying it. Not one bit. Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here. I hope you're enjoying this free full episode of Takedown. But there's something else you need to know. We have almost 100 new episodes on my streaming crime network, watch TruBlu.com. Use the code YouTube24 for half off your first month, or YouTube Year for $20 off a full year. We'll see you soon on TruBlu.
Sheriff Chris Swanson has seen a lot of disturbing things in his career, but he'll never be able to reconcile how a fellow lawman could do something like this.
60 years old, had been in law enforcement as a police officer in Michigan and Florida for 20 years.
I know.
And here he is, trying to meet a 15-year-old girl for sex.
Aside from the fact that he would have committed that egregious act, he wanted to, involve waterworks, which is peeing on each other, all the most disgusting things in the chat. This guy does not represent who law enforcement is. And my greatest concern is, what did he do when he was a police officer? This guy just doesn't develop this behavior. And that's the biggest concern. He was 3 different agencies, 2 different states. He's no longer a cop, nor should he ever been.
And a former member of law enforcement committing a crime like this raises a lot of questions about his past actions.
He walks into the house, is clearly enchanted at the sight of the decoy, one of your deputies, turns to the door and locks it not once, but twice.
No.
Locks the deadbolt and the door, and then starts to move his way towards the decoy. He says, where can we go? Is there a room where we can go?
Yeah. Control. A power mentality, authority. He wanted to lock that door so he knew that he was in total control of that environment and that female, that kid, and that was part of the fantasy.
He thought he had been talking to this girl's aunt, who was the entree to the sexual liaison with the girl. And he was very specific with what he wanted to do. He wanted oral sex from the girl, and then he wanted the girl to urinate on him.
Yeah.
And he admits this in my interview. Where does that even come from?
This scenario was an adult selling a kid. It was our scenario, but that's what he answered. The fact that I think it's okay that an adult is selling their niece, I'm gonna take action. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when he came up in that chat and we were watching those comments, you know, they are the ones that think of that, you know, and to fantasize about that and to act out on that, this is how deep and dark his mindset is. And this is a sliding scale, because let's just say that it happened. The next time it would have been worse. The next time, this is a dopaminergic effect. And it's like any other drug, it's never as good as the first time, and you're always chasing that dragon. It would have gone even farther down, all the way into God only knows. But when it gets that bad, and who could come up with that kind of gratification, it's somebody who's been a deviant for a long time.
Sheriff Swanson and I have heard just about every excuse imaginable from a predator. But to blame your wife?
He had the gall to tell me in our interview that part of the reason he was there to engage in sex with a child was because he wasn't getting satisfactory intimacy at home from his wife. He blames his wife.
I know. What does that tell you about his character, or lack thereof? And anytime someone tries to divert attention or place blame, they're trying to minimize what their involvement is. It's all part of the mental mindset of these predators. It's all part of their ability to try to justify, rationalize what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
After Jeff was taken into custody, a background check was conducted. And what it revealed was even more unsettling and perhaps dangerous.
Then come to find out that this guy, currently, besides being an insurance agent, had a job involving security, which exposed him to very vulnerable children.
Yeah.
This is a guy who was working in some sort of security capacity for the Michigan School for the Deaf. What now has to happen to make sure there was nothing inappropriate there?
My office already contacted the school, and we want to make sure that there were not any.
This is a vulnerable population.
These are people that are already struggling with a disability and a disadvantage that others don't struggle with.
It's frightening that somebody like that would be in a position to be in charge of vulnerable children.
You know, in our business, we find people that are predators or wolves, and they will put themselves in positions to be with the sheep. And that's why your platform is so vital and your work is so critical to us, that you got to be ready and aware of those wolves. And they're everywhere, and they're going to put themselves in positions to take advantage. And that's what he did. If you look at the pattern, that's why we find these predators working in schools, churches, taking advantage of, you know, alone time with younger kids, babysitters. I mean, all these vulnerable roles, that they find ways to crack into those lives, those vulnerable lives. And the problem is these victims don't see it coming many times. That's why you and I have to be the megaphone, and everybody out there listening and watching needs to be that protector.
Watch TruBlu.com is home to the full library of Takedown with Chris Hansen, true crime documentaries, and exclusive investigations.